Hi, and welcome to this video on getting started with Xerte. I'm Helen Davis and I'll be taking you through this session. By the end of this session, you'll be able to log into Xerte online toolkits. You'll be able to create a learning object with a range of page types. You can preview your learning object. You can change the properties of your learning object, and you'll be able to edit an existing learning object. In this video, we will create a simple learning object that will contain some text, images and sound. While doing this, we will take a look at the Xerte interface and explore some of the features that it contains. We will be using some of the more basic features of Xerte in this video, but there will be a separate video which will go through the different page types. Let's start by logging into Xerte. Go to xerte.swan.ac.uk and log in with the username and password that you were given. Once you're logged in, you'll be able to see the full workspace. If you've created any learning objects or folders previously, you will see them in the My Projects panel. Here's the My Projects panel. Here you can organise, edit, preview and share projects that you've created. Templates to create new projects can be found in the Create a New Project panel here. The template we're going to be using is called Xerte Online Toolkit. This contains a wide range of easy to use page types, make it easy to create sophisticated content. Okay, we're going to start with creating the first learning object. To do this, select the Xerte Online Toolkit template and click on Create. First thing it'll do is ask you to give it a name, so I'm going to call it My First Learning Object. And then click on Create. A pop-up window should appear, as shown. If it doesn't appear, then you may see a message at the top asking to enable pop-ups. If that's the case, then allow it and then try to create it again. Okay, just to quickly take you through the window that appears. This particular window is called a project editor. This is where you'll add pages and add content to your learning object. On the left here, you've got what we call the page icon panel. We can insert, copy, delete and organise pages here, as you'll see as we build them up. On the right, this particular area is known as the form panel, and here we'll fill in forms to populate and configure the learning object as well as each page. Okay, we've created our first skeleton, and the first thing we need to do is enter a title for our learning object. So, given that my hobby is photography, I'll call it Introduction to Photography. This title will appear at the top of every page. Obviously, we're doing it in English, but there are some language options. If you're a language tutor, for example, you may want to create it in a different language. Navigation, we've got the option for linear, historic, menu or menu with page controls. We're going to stick with linear for the minute. The default text size, obviously with Xerte it's more of an accessibility tool, but we can create it. I'm going to change this default size to 14, but as long as it's over 12, that's the main thing. Display mode here, the default just takes up some of the screen. We've got the option for a full screen, or we've got the option to fill the window. We're actually going to change it to full screen. This will ensure that it'll scale to fit whichever browser window you've got, even if you use a tablet or a smaller screen. Okay. So when you hover over to the left hand side, you can see that my learning object title has appeared. We now want to add some pages to our learning object. So what we're going to do here is click on the insert menu, and it gives me a few different options. I'm going to select text this particular time and title page. This will just give me a title for the slide, same as if you were doing a PowerPoint presentation. Okay. Let's give this page a title. As it's the first page, I'm going to call it the introduction. And then the title text will be the first heading. So as it's photography, I'm going to call it Getting to Grips with the Basics. Obviously, this title would reflect on what your learning object is on. The default text size on this, because it's a title, is 30 points. I'm going to leave it at that. If you want to see how this comes, how this appears then on screen once you've created it, towards the bottom left of this window, you've got a play option. Let's click play, or preview as it's sometimes called. So here now we've got the new preview. You've got your learning object title, you've got your page title, and you've got your title text. Okay, this is a preview, so I'm going to click to close this, and that will take me back to the editor window. Okay, I now want to insert another page, but this page, rather than just being a title, I'm going to call it I'm going to create a graphics and sound page. Okay, again, so we go to insert. This time we're going to slip down to media. Obviously you can see there's several media types that we can adapt, but we'll stick with the basics for the minute. Graphics and sound. And I've selected graphics and sound. To come across to the right hand side, you can see that the layout is different to what we saw the last time. I'm going to give my page a title. So just type that in there. And obviously we've got some graphics and sound. It may be that you want some text to accompany it. So I'll just enter some text quickly. Okay, if we were to preview the page right now, we wouldn't actually see anything. The reason for this is because the page positions the text in relation to the image that we choose, and we haven't added an image yet. So just to quickly look, if we click on play to preview it, it's now telling me I've got 2 slides and I'm on slide 1 of 2. So if I click the right hand arrow, I can see my title, but there's no text. So I'll close my preview. Okay. We now need to add an image. So if you scroll down underneath the text, we've got the option to select an image here. So I'm going to click on the 3 dots to import an image. And there you go. So it's telling me that my upload was successful, so I'll click on OK. Image tooltip. This is quite important. One of the main advantages of Xerte is that it's accessible to screen readers, to text-to-speech editors, and so on. A tooltip is something that if something can't actually see an image, if you hover over it, a screen reader will tell you what the image is about. So I'm just going to put my tooltip on, just to describe my photo. Okay, I'm now going to preview this just to see the difference. If we click on play and go across to slide 2, my text has now appeared along with the image. If I hover over the image, a little tooltip will appear, and that's the text that I actually typed in. It's quite useful. To come back to the properties pane here now, we can change the layout. Obviously it defaults to being on the left, the image defaults to being on the left, but we can change that by clicking the align text. So you can change it to align right and preview. But I'm going to leave it at left. Within this particular page type, it allows for graphics and media. This time we're going to go to optional properties because we want to add some sound to this. So it automatically defaults towards a play narration. If we click on the drop down box and we'll select sound, and then we'll click on add, and here is our new feature. Again, we're going to import a sound, so I'm going to click on the 3 dots here to import the media. I'm going to go to my music, and I'm just going to select an MP3 file. It's now telling me that the upload is successful. Okay, if you want to see this again, we'll play it. So I'll click on play. Again, my first slide. I've got my text, I've got my image, and you can see that it's added a play bar, so I could potentially... Okay, I'm not going to play that all the way through, but it's there. Okay, clearly now we can see that our learning object still needs more work. We'll need to add additional pages, and we've probably got other content that we'd want to add, but for now we're going to publish it. Publish is the term used within Xerte to save your learning object. We can also change the properties of our file so that others can view it. Just to let you know, it's a default setting within Xerte. All learning objects are private until we change them to public. Okay, in order to save this, we've gone back to the main window, and on the top right we've got a publish button. If we click on that, and we've seen it flash, we can now close by clicking on the X, and we'll go to the main workspace. Okay. I've created some learning objects already, so there's some in my list, but the one we've just created is my first learning object here. So in order to change the properties, we've clicked on it. You can see that it's highlighted in the shade, and we'll click the properties button. This is the properties window. You can see in the project area we've got my first learning object. We've got the option to save it in JavaScript or HTML5 or Flash. As if we use Flash, we can't save it, we can't run it on an iPad or a lot of mobile devices. I would stick to JavaScript. If you wanted to add any notes, you can click in the notes file, and these will be visible to yourself. So you might want to say if you've got a checklist of things you need to add, that sort of thing. Media and quota. If you click on this, it will tell you how much space you've used and what files you've uploaded. You can also add other media through this window as well, but we're not going to do it in this video. What we want to do is to share this, but at the moment we can't because our learning object is private. As by clicking on access, we'll set it as private. So I'm going to change this to public, and I'm going to click on the change access button. If I click back on project, I now have a little box here with an iframe text that we can allow other people to embed it into their websites, or you can embed it in yours, or we can embed it into Blackboard. We can use it. We can link if you want other people to see it. You can just copy and paste the link and send it. We may also wish to change the properties so that our learning object is part of the public RSS feed. This will be covered in a separate tutorial.